Not bad. Not bad at all. I like the bit about the haunted room and the spooky bit in the old crypt. Do you believe in ghosts?
Do you?
Not all the time, but I do when I'm reading ghost stories. Get the best of both worlds that way. Have you ever heard of poltergeists? I used to be bothered by one when I was about your age.
Were you? Were you really?
I was. You don't think I'm silly saying that?
Oh, no.
It didn't start very dramatically. Things just used to move when I was around. Not very far at first. Then they began to move further. Sometimes even through the air.
You do know. It happened to you as well.
It did. Used to scare the hell out of me. Does it frighten you?
Yes. I try and run away from it, but it always comes with me. Does it still happen to you?
No. It stopped suddenly. It always does.
Will it with me?
Very soon. We don't believe they're cheeky little devils that cause trouble anymore.
I know they talk about psychokinesis now. What's that?
We don't know what it is. Only what it does. I'm glad now mine was a poltergeist. You know how I got over being afraid of him? I gave him a name. Timothy. Can you imagine being afraid of someone called that? When he went away, I almost missed him. What would you call yours?
George?
Bit sober and straight-laced.
Fred.
I like Fred. Now, what does he look like? Tall, short, fat, thin?
He's short and bald and he's got fat, hairy legs.
Now, are we going to be afraid of someone called Fred who's got fat, hairy legs?
No.
Well, off you go then, Colin. Write me a story about a boy who's got a poltergeist called Fred.
He's short and bald and got fat, hairy legs.
Is that what you think it is? A poltergeist?
Yes, but it's not as bad as it sounds. Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
I don't understand.
Well, we don't know what these manifestations are caused by, but we know it's some kind of energy force that some people contain for a year or two of their lives. Usually when entering puberty. It's nothing to worry about.
Hello? Hello?
Well, I've seen Colin's headmaster. He's rather nice.
That means you got what you wanted from him.
No, it doesn't. But I did. Colin can go back after the school holidays.
That's marvelous. But not right away.
Well, the headmaster feels he needs another couple of weeks just to settle down. There is only one thing.
If it's about the poltergeist, Karen already knows.
Oh, good. Thank you. Well, he says although he's aware of this phenomenon in kids of Colin's age and is sympathetic towards it, that if it should happen again, he would have to ask Colin to leave. He'd have no choice, Karen.
I can see that. But what can we do to stop it happening again?
It's difficult to say. It's not as if it's something you can prescribe a course of antibiotics for.
Oh, well, I think I'll go and tell Colin the good news.
I was wondering if Roy might be able to do something for him.
Like psychoanalyze the poltergeist?
No, but he could put Colin in the right frame of mind.
And what frame's that?
You know as well as I do that it's usually related to puberty and tension.
And I suppose Roy could put years on him.
You really have it in for Roy just now,
Well,
don't you?
I just don't think that a psychiatrist without a noticeable trace of warmth is the person I go to ease my tensions.
He can be very warm and very charming.
Well, I don't seem to bring out that side of his nature.
Colin might. I think I'll put the idea to Karen. It'll take him off her hands for a few days anyway.
And put him into your tender, loving care.
Yes. I suspect he doesn't get all he should sometimes. This one's Colin's. Really disappointing.
Why is Colin doing PK tests?
We seem to have stumbled across something rather interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The stories of objects he didn't like, moving, breaking with their own volition, seem to suggest that his resentment can trigger off psychokinetic energy.
Maybe the poltergeist didn't like them either.
As a scientist, I find it very difficult to believe in poltergeists.
I'm sure they find it just as difficult to believe in you.
Tom.
May I go on? The boy in his school tried to get him into trouble. The boy's room was wrecked.
So?
So we have a hypothesis that fits the facts. That this energy is not working at random, but is directed, subconsciously, towards particular targets. Now, if this proves to be correct, I think we can take giant strides forward.
We brought Colin here to get rid of his poltergeist, not to develop
The
it.
tests I'm doing are very elementary and harmless.
And Colin's results are negative, I understand.
Well, that's no more than I expected. We can treat those tests as a control and go on with some of another kind.
I don't think you should.
It's the only way we can find out anything, Tom.
What does that matter compared to the possible effects on Colin?
Well, of course it does. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it.
Look, he feels like a freak already. All you can do by testing him, especially if it's successful, is make him feel even more freakish and isolated. And that's the opposite of what we promised to do for him. I thought you said you wouldn't do anything without Karen's permission.
I'm not. I'm getting in touch with her today.
Well, it's only fair to tell you both I've already been in touch with her and advised her to refuse.